in game 2, I mean, for EVOS right here, if they really have a lot of damage here from the Roger, from the Zaz, if they had the Hylas on top of that, at least the damage output and the damage receiving for their composition is kind of rounded out already. Now for Dewa, the Moskov can of course deal with the Hylas given enough time, but I wonder if they are thinking of other solutions, right? Other ways to really help out, to try and melt down this Hylas, this massive wall walking straight at you.
Yeah, and feels like EVOS, they're able to find a counter to the Hylos, which is by picking it for themselves. They ban out the Fanny and the Joy as well. One of the two of the best heroes for Ray to pick up as well. Very, very apt with the Assassin. They ban out the Hanzo as well.
Julian pick should be, right? They need to take it away
in their hands. I mean, it's still up for grabs, so a lot of options for EVOS to figure out. They do need an XP laner and a jungler. But again, this Roger can still be flexed, but Julian would be the icing on top.
I agree. I think the Julian would also be a way for Dewa to actually try to shred down the Hylos, right? If you use the Enhanced Scythe and you lock him down together with the Moskov's damage, that should be enough to take the Hylos down. Depends on how ahead he is, obviously, right? Hylos is quite unkillable. There are memes circulating around the world right now. I saw one on Reddit. Like, it was a picture of just Hylos, and then the description was, Hylos after getting shot at for like 5 minutes. He just stands there, nothing changes.
Yeah, this hero is unkillable.
They go win.
It's so tanky, and they pick up the Guinevere. What is the thought process of this Guinevere rush?
Well, they have a lot of single target damage. I guess they want just more playmaking, because the Hylas can of course engage, but against this composition from the side of Dewa here, with the stuns, with the Terrifier from the Valentina, the knockback with the Spear of Misery from the Moskov as well, they want to have something that can engage almost directly. But the X-Borg I was about to get to, against tanky heroes, the X-Borg has always been a great solution. It does true damage, so it can be a solution for the Hylas, but I feel like this can only really work out if Dewa can kind of keep the fight at bay. If they start to get overrun completely, then the X-Borg can just get ignored in the back. And it does damage, but over time. Never really burst damage.
Yeah, there was a comment from Jume as well in the halftime.
Oh, wow.
He was still confident with the win against EVOS, but that was still the first game because he said that EVOS still has that quality as they round out the draft with the Claude as well to close out the drafting phase. Initial thoughts on this pick, of course, for the Claude against the Moskov. I feel like that's kind of like a 50-50 lane, but for the Roger will be flexed into the jungle, but Ray again will be able to get that Julian in his own hands in the jungle.
Look, it's funny how it kind of flipped over. Right now it's a Claude against the Moskov, but with different players. So we'll see if Doma, I mean, man, if Doma loses in this matchup this time, that's the bad luck, man. I know it's the first game and all for EVOS in the season, but still, it has to be a bit of a mental blow. Looking at the index, I believe earlier it was still also EVOS who actually has the advantage. So if we're working with patterns right here, you gotta be a bit more concerned for EVOS for sure.
Will the White Tigers bite back? Or will the gods once again smite them down? Back on game number 2. The Land of Dawn, it is EVOS Glory against Dewa United.
To start things off, ladies and gentlemen, here in game number 2, it definitely feels like, for EVOS at least, they have a better grasp on their game plan. They have a better grasp on the draft as well. They've got some solid win conditions to try to work around with. And meanwhile, for Dewa, I would say it's not bad either, right? I think for both of the compositions, this is way more 50-50 compared to game number 1, and this will truly rely on the execution.
Well, looking at the composition for Dewa though, they have a great way of setting up for a fight right here. They can just really send Chorizo in the front. He's really hard to pick off with the Firaga armor, and there's always that last final slash playmaking that we saw being done by Lutfi. And look at the Litho, still secured by Dewa somehow in that engagement. So Annabelle made his way painstakingly to the Litho, but then he didn't get it. This means that Ray will have a bit of an advantage here in the clearing game, but look at Chorizo.
Oh, forced to flicker out. Proper respect, though, from Chorizo as he walks up here. Then, of course, Annabelle to use that retribution. He might not be able to. Chorizo steals it away. Annabelle.
The pain.
Losing on so much. The Litho, and then that jungle creep.
The XP crab.
Yeah, that XP crab. That XP crab. The hands of Chorizo, of course, it's going to help him get into higher levels quite faster. But again, up top, how would you describe the matchup of that X4 against the Hylos? Will it be able to kill the Hylos, or will it have to wait? But we have to. But it kind of shows that we're back in the game after quite some wait. As we flip back to Chorizo, Hijume already able to control the jungle and the turtle in the hands of Ray. So Dewa with that early advantage, 500, 600 gold.
Despite this though, right? I mean, they have the Hylos, but still, they're actually losing out in levels. This was the main problem as to why they weren't able to contest for the first turtle in game number 1, and it is still the same problem here. Even with the Hylos pick, with the Zask in the mid lane, Hijume is out-leveling Clockun, and Moeza got level 4 first. Panzer, amazing pick. This should be them on the board here. Clockun picks up first blood, and finally we see a response from EVOS Glory.
Oh, that first blood going into the Zask will be very troublesome for Dewa United. They're able to move proactively with Panzer, and this is what you want with the Guinevere, actively seeking for picks, actively roaming around the map to get other laners ahead.
Wow.
It did require them two ultimates though, but game fact here by our new application GoPay.
Yeah, this marks Zask's debut in MPL ID Season 14, after last being used by Watt in MPL ID Season 7 when Genflix lost to EVOS. That was a long time ago, and the fact that he's going to pick it against Watt's former team kind of spells poetry.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely poetic there. Season 7 was a wild time for the gold lane, man. We saw Yu Zhong in the gold lane, Farsa, Zeta. We saw Lunox, Harith, Hayabusa.
Farsa as well.
Farsa, and obviously we saw the Zas too. Didn't work out for them, but hey, we did see it. A wild time for the gold lane. And then Marksman came about. I think it's Season 8.
What a throwback for Mirko there. It was your first season casting as well.
Yeah,
So
yours first season too.
I got it at the tail end of Season 7, so it's not really as memorable for me, Mirko. I bet for you there's a lot more to think about, but look at Panzer going for a play.
Great pick again, man, with a spatial migration, but Hijume still, the go green meta, really loves the environment.
Go green means go home, because it's able to run back to his house, or rather the base, because of that Purify just giving him that extra anti-CC, but now a total siege going towards the hands of Dewa United.
Chorizo, forcing the blow is trapping now, pops in the last Insanity 2, blows up, Luffy in the back still with a Revitalize, still able to survive for so long, ready to be caught in half sword though! But Annabelle wins out the red tree battle. Even with the Dominators of Sen, it's not gonna be enough. Moeza taken down. Look at the Johnny boys going at it. Whose Johnny is better? Okay, Clockun wins it.
The spawn duel there coming through. Finally for EVOS, they're showing the utility of that Hylos. Dewa there, I feel like they were really overcommitting to really try and find a way to shut down that Hylos so early on, when they can really go for the other heroes, right? Because we've seen that being a real good strategy for the neutral objective take. Maybe let go the turtle or the Lord, but make sure that your opponents pay for it. Despite the fact that they don't really have a lot of healing reduction already available in the inventory slots of Dewa United, they went for that Hylos with the Glorious Pathway, with the Revitalize, and it really costed them. They're gonna definitely adjust from there and maybe try and get a lot more earlier healing reduction as well. But for the side of EVOS, man, I think you can really see that the power spikes for Doma is not quite there just yet. Still waiting in on a Demon Hunter Sword, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do against that Hylos, right? Do you ignore it?
Depends. I mean, if the backline is kind of vulnerable, maybe you can, but otherwise, you just have to painstakingly like chunk him down and make sure that when you're dealing damage to him, everyone else isn't dealing damage to you. I think that's like the main problem here of trying to deal with Hylos. If you're hitting the Hylos alone and his team isn't hitting you, then you're still okay. But usually when the Hylos is moving forward, the whole team is like, yeah, hit that guy. Hit that guy. And like, he'll try and get paw shots at you, you know, like the school bully.
Oh, Doma. No BMI. Now he does use the battle there. Ray's gonna chase him down. And with the wolf, he spawns. He finds the kill. Annabelle finds a train in the bottom side of the map, though. Doma on the weak side, not respecting being on the weak side.
Yeah, did not respect the kill threat coming in from Dewa United. He's on the weak side, didn't even pop the BMI, quite late on it, as Fluffy will just march. I mean, take a look at how much resources, how many resources that Dewa had to expend to take down Fluffy, so that's going to be a plus point for EVOS to just prolong the fights, prolong the skirmishes. But Turtle now in their eyes, Cerrito looking to crash the party!
Spatial migration from Panzer! Into the final Requiem now with a collapse as well as Annabelle guns them down. As the Lycan form decides to go for it now, jumps onto Moeza, but not able to fully dive in that tier 2. EVO's Glory winning out in the skirmish and getting the neutral objective.
Now immediately EVOS looking for more pushing on 2 lanes at the same time. The Nightmare spawn makes it so difficult. It can tank turret shots, it can zone out defenders off the turrets, and they're taking full advantage of it. One more falls down on the top side, and now officially I think Dewa is on the back foot. They're kind of lacking resources to try and melt on the Hylas, and they're going to lose their purple buff as well.
Oh, just taking everything that they can get. Scratch and grab for EVOS Glory. Dewa United now on the opposite side, on the back foot, in comparison of game number 1. So now they have to tone down the pressure. But what is the winning condition coming in from Dewa United, Arashi?
They have to make sure that they get their damage out, and they have to make sure, I think, that they are the ones who make the first move. The issue is right here, is that Sorito's moving forward, but he's always so fixated on dealing with the Hylas that he's not really opening the rest of the map, and that allows Panzer to finally have a chance to hide around. But look at this!
Good sun down. CC, you know, with the Violet Requiem, Panzer very low, gonna be taken down. Mueza finds the vengeance, Fluffy rotates forward with the glorious pathway. Toma pops in the blazing duo, but is unable to find anything. Good zone with the chain now. Dominators descend, munching down to the HP bars. Mueza still with a desperate attempt to find a kill, jumps in forward. And he will be taken down. It'll be the roamer for the roamer, traded out.
Whoa, so many layers from EVOS Glory. You have the glorious pathway, a Hylos charging at you, and then you have Doma in the back just popping the blazing duo, and then you have Clocker with the ultimate. Who do you even target as Dewa United?
I think right now you have to target Clocker, right? I mean, at the very least, even if you don't really get him out of the fight, you can kind of take down the Domineer's Descent. And that kind of lowers his damage potential, and maybe you can just play the split push game, but considering how well EVOS is controlling the pace right now and how tanky Fluffy is, they're going straight for the Lord, and I think Dewa will be forced to respond if they really want to contest this. There's no time to split push.
I second that. I mean, split push-wise, Dewa United does have that side lane potential, especially with Watt. He's pushing up, pushing down bottom, trying to get a turret for himself, and then he can rejoin the fight with the Spear Destruction.
Ooh.
Oh, this Lord, just a taunt coming in from EVOS Glory. They're yet to set their sights on this. Just a game of ping pong, push and pull, tug of war for both teams, as Watt is able to get that bottom turret for himself.
Oh, conceal, Mueza trying to go for Clocker, jumps over the Dominance Descent. Cerise gonna be caught still, losing the Faraga armor. Mueza able to dodge away from the space of migration. The Pogo Slash connects onto 3, including the clone. The chain plays down, Cerise able to flicker out to safety. Meanwhile, on the back line, it's gonna be chased down. Hydra will be able to trade it out. It's 1 for 1. Both mid laners taken down, but with the Zask down, this gives Dewa a window of opportunity. One in the mid lane, clearing it out. Oh, as now it's going to be Fluffy engaged on. Good hand to knock him up. Mueza jumps with the vengeance that has been resetted with the CC that was placed. But still, Doma handling the waves in the mid lane. Dewa, they have 4, and it's a 4v4 currently. No one wants to come in on the Lord.
Prolonged skirmish and a team fight as well, but they lost Clockun, but Clockun is back on the line of Dawn now, as well as Hijume. They'll sprint towards the Lord, still wanting to grab this huge objective. But for Dewa United, they're just waiting in the wings, not wanting to make the first or initial engage coming in towards EVOS Glory.
I feel like this slow Lord Dance situation really favors Dewa, because we talked about this. EVOS can really do a lot of damage with the X-Work, but only if EVOS are willing to stand there and take it. As of right now, there's not really enough ways for them to really make the move, but look at that!
They're going spatial migration and the Violet Requiem just for the Faraga armor. Spear Destruction connecting onto the back line now with the final stacks. Mueza unable to displace anyone. It's Annabelle who's as consistent as ever on the Retribution. Ray gets the chain to disengage and to give Watts an opening to escape. EVOS Glory finding the neutral objective and 2 members on the board.
Watt wasn't able to gun down the damage needed to get through the players of EVOS Glory. They go home with all eyes on the Lord, getting that Lord, getting 2 kills. And now they can work on the side lanes, just even push Dewa United far off the cliff.
You know, a big factor right here is the fact that Sorito is actually relatively behind. He only has 2 items completed. He went for the War Axe first to get some more damage, some more utility, and then he went for the Brute Force Breastplate for the tankiness. So he hasn't really got any other items to help with the utility, like let's say the Ice Queen's Wand, to try and slow down the members of EVOS Glory, which is why they can just move forward here without really being bothered by quite anything. With the Lord marching in right now, with the Hyla still being that pesky front line, not a lot of ways for Dewa to defend this without at least losing several structures in the process.
Annabelle having that endless battle in his hands. gives even much more tankier approach, more sustain. Ooh, Purify.
Forced out. Another tier 2 in the mid lane and another tier 2 in the bottom lane just through the minions alone. Watson Cerezo really trying to stop this Lord from actually crashing down, from baiting out the Holy Defense, but I think it's already been used up there. Still though, they will still be able to survive with just that first Lord. Again, with the changes of the Lord, it does make it easier to clear the first spawn Lord. They keep, but still, I think it's a lot of value for EVOS, right? They got all the tier 2s.
Yeah, but I mean, still, in a base defense, I feel like Dewa does have the resources to clear out the waves. You have, you know, a Watt with the passive from the Moskov, as well as Yume, who could just run around, steal the ultimates. But still, it's going to be a very, very difficult task to deal with EVOS if they crash together all 3 lanes.
They can try and go for that, but I think for Dewa, the issue is still the same thing. They have a lot of burst damage technically, but they can't really target anyone just because of Fluffy. So they tried to go for a bit of a flank earlier, but considering again the same factor, everyone's so tanky, the Clawkun can go in on the Diminished Descent and kind of avoid death. Doma even already has the Wind of Nature, so there's not a lot of ways for them to really go for a kickoff. So they're really forced to play the front to back. But being 5k gold behind, it's a bit too difficult as of right now. If they want to just play defense and just wait for the game to go even longer, then maybe that could be a play they can attempt. But I feel like EVOS won't allow them to do so without at least giving up several more structures, right? Because they have a 6k gold lead, and the last thing they want to do is just kind of sit around and allow this game to drag on until the gold advantage becomes less of a factor.
And Doma with the defensive build, the Rose Gold, gives him that extra sustainability because he has mostly been on the back line for EVOS Glory, pushing out for Blazing Duets to come through, but now EVOS setting their sights on the Lord once again.
Year of Destruction connecting on a Clawkun. Reverse pathway already used up to Rezo.
No what?
Doesn't miss it at all. Annabelle just takes it for free. Moez is going to be caught. The last Insanity gets used up defensively. And for EVOS, great discipline there. They do not decide to even go on to Moeza despite him already, you know, overextending a bit. They have the Lord and they'll spawn instantly, so they might just go, they choose to go to set it up.
The only solution from Dewa United to address this leading coming in from the EVOS Glory is to play the side lanes from Watt. But then again, how do you time the Spear of Destruction? When are you going to jump in? And if it misses, there is no chance that you will be there to the fight. So it's going to be 4v5 when they march through the base.
Great wave manipulation. Panther jumps in with facial migration. The final stack brings them back, and Panther's going to be taken away. Last Insanity by Cerezo. Defensively, as Hijime walks forward onto Fluffy, but he's a tanky horse right there. They deal with the Lord. Enhanced Chain dodged away from by the BMI placed defensively by Doma in the back. And for now, Dewa will be able to defend, but they lose 2 massive structures.
That was a close one for Dewa, man. EVOS just go in with the Glorious Pathway, and Panzer once again tries to make a play happen, but something caught him. He got stuck, and immediately the burst damage is very much apparent. This is why Fluffy has been the main frontline. If Panzer is the one in Fluffy's shoes, they would have lost a lot of kills all the way from the beginning. Now with 1 more second until Panzer is up, Dewa tries to find a play, an advantage with one man more compared to EVOS, but EVOS just immediately go on the defense. Let's take a look at the replay here by our official tournament smartphone. That was a Galaxy S14 series. Look at this play here. The final slash that kind of stopped everything in its tracks, and because of that, Fluffy, after using Glorious Pathway only for himself, not for the rest of his team, is just forced to back away from it. But you can see that he didn't even get cut down below half HP.
So much defense coming in, and it is once again proven that killing a high loss is nigh impossible for the players of Dewa United. Oh, what?
Whoa.
A drop from what?
That's aggressive right there. Watts able to place his ball. Formation migration pops in over to nature, baits out Panzer. What? Violent Requiem, Flicker, Panzer on Spear of Injury to help him out. Muesa placing Annabelle very low. Now the Dominus Ascent, she has so much damage. Doma with a Blazing Duet. And now Fluffy with the flank. It'll be Watt taken down. Ray is next on the chopping block. Annabelle is back in the Lycan form, and EVOS Glory are marching down the base with an 8,000 gold lead. Cerezo with Hijime left to defend with the last Insanity. Now Annabelle marching forward as a winter crowd to try to stay alive, but even then it's not going to be enough. The horse stops on Hijime as EVOS equalize on the board.
If that was a mistake by Watt, that is a costly mistake. TP into the Spear of Destruction and bring the fight to himself. He gets corralled, the gods back towards the wall. And EVOS Glory, they bite back. They're able to equalize the score 1-all.
1-1 for the Tigers here, showing that they have the adaptability, they have the skills required if they have the right tools. It also was set in place from the drafting phase, and Dewa had a respectable attempt, but in the end I think they went for a last-ditch effort, a risky play to try and find something there from a game that looked so lost, but EVOS denies it. And it's down to the final one, a full best of 3 to end the day off. Wow.